Good morning, everybody. My name is Rodolfo González. I am the Chief Operating Officer for Optimus. Today, we're going to be covering the Copilot for the modern workplace. And by modern workplace, we're talking about Office 365, and in particular, Teams, Excel, Word, PowerPoint, and Outlook. I'm very familiar with Microsoft. I worked for 18 years for Microsoft as director for business solutions for Latin America and the Caribbean. And as such, I could see the investments that Microsoft started placing a few years ago, 3 years ago, when I left Microsoft to join Optimus. And since then, Microsoft has put in billions of dollars of investments, first $10 billion on ChatGPT, but since then, they have really invested in Copilot. It used to be ChatGPT, the version of ChatGPT in Microsoft now with all the added and billions of dollars of investments. Now it's called ChatGPT, Copilot. And now we're going to see a short video on the evolution of different technologies throughout the time. So, as you know, the world population is about 8 billion, but now we have Facebook with 3 billion, WhatsApp, and so on. And the time of implementing all these technologies has dramatically been reduced over time. And as you can see, ChatGPT, which is again now Copilot, takes only 2 months. Optimus, it's a company of business transformation. We focus on business solutions and Microsoft products like Office. And as such, we have been leaders in Copilot. We were early adopters. And since then, it has been a really thrilling ride and seeing how fast everything has moved around artificial intelligence. Over almost 2 years ago, we started with a little more than a year ago, we started being this early adopter program, and we have been implemented internally first, and then throughout our partners, our customers, and we have seen a dramatic increase in the adoption of Copilot. So it's really here to stay. And it is going through single aspect of our business, our transformation, and the world. As you can see, fortunately, now predominantly Copilot has taken over and increasing the efficiency and the consumption around the world, and by increasing the performance. And this is, and you're going to see one of the slides talking about how Copilot will revolutionize the industry, all industries, and there's going to be a big shift. So a lot of millions of jobs will be eliminated or transformed, but at the same time, many more will be created. This is what happened through the first industrial revolution, by which at the beginning there was a lot of migration from the country to the farms to the cities, and at the same time, a lot of old industries disappeared. But at the same time, new industries were created, and the whole humanity were benefited by all this new creation of new jobs and new products. And this is what we will see in the coming future and in the near future. And we can, as you can see now, that Amazon has adopts artificial intelligence with drones, and now it's not only if you will be transforming. It is how you will be transforming. And Optimus is here with you to help you make this transformation. We have dozens of years of experience individually and over hundreds of years of added experience throughout all our personnel. As I mentioned, I've been 18 years Microsoft, but over 30 years on the industry, and same with our CEO and the people, our the technical people, consultants, developers normally have an average of over 10 years of experience in Microsoft products and also third-party solutions. One of which we about 2 or 3 weeks ago we won the Worldwide Cloud Partner of the Year, and which we feel very proud. And at the same time, we're a Diamond Partner for LS Retail, we're a Gold Partner for Microsoft Solutions. We were considered one of the top 100 companies by University of Florida for the US, and so on. And so all this expertise helps us transform your companies using artificial intelligence, help you on guiding you how would be the best way to approach and to adopt the Copilot. In the video, you saw 3 quotes. One is that AI won't replace humans, but humans with AI will replace humans without AI. So this is an adoption, and you saw through the graph, before you had years to start not only adapting, but also adopting the new technology. And this new technology means that it is now the time to start adopting. The adoption doesn't need to be throughout the company all at once, but normally through management, and eventually you look for different scenarios within the company, and we can help you identify. We have ways to help you doing an assessment and where, if you're prepared, and where are the areas within the company where you can adopt more easily. And the second quote is from Microsoft: Copilot is not autopilot. It's not meant to replace the employees. You still have to add your creativity, your review, your QA to the information that you are gathering through artificial intelligence. But at the same time, the idea is to make each one of us more efficient. And again, as I mentioned before, the adoption, the industrial revolution, and the comparison to this new revolution, which is going to be a lot faster, it is really transformational. And we have seen it in the last year, and we expect this to be kind of like a hockey stick in the adoption throughout the different companies and throughout the world. So on today's agenda, we're going to be covering basically modern workplace. It is how Copilot through Office 365, through Teams, and in the different products, and later RBP for AI will be covering that in detail with a demo on how you can work it with Excel, with Word, with PowerPoint, and also about Copilot Studio. We were in Iceland when we received this prize, and we were talking with their key developers, and they said that they're using, for example, GitHub for Copilot, which is a worldwide very known development environment, and they say that they have increased the quality and the performance of their developers, and also to generate test scenarios automatically through the artificial intelligence there. So that was also an awesome experience. And it's they're not thinking of, oh, we're going to be firing people or anything like that. But I said, okay, now we can slow down of the hiring of people that takes so long, but by making our people more efficient, our code more efficient, and so we can do more. And we're going to be talking a little about the workflows, how the processes are improved with Copilot, and then how it streamlines the tasks and automates processes. Okay, and finally, we're going to go through a Q&A process, Q&A section. So if you have questions, feel free either to start adding them into the chat, or wait until the end and we're going to go through the Q&A. I apologize for understand there's no sound on the video. Basically a song, okay, behind it. So this video was presented in the Super Bowl in the US, and it cost millions of dollars just for 30 seconds on a presentation. That shows the investment and the focus that Microsoft has in Copilot. Okay, and it was just music in the background, so you haven't missed much. So talking about Microsoft and AI and Copilot, these are kind of a very crowded slide, but this is basically to show all the investment that Microsoft is doing throughout their products. So on chat, on PowerPoint, Teams, Excel, and then Jorge will be going more detail with that. And also how it's on Copilot for Outlook, Word, and so on. They're also on the bottom right, you can see the additional for business solutions, what investments they're making for HR, for Microsoft Dynamics 365 marketing, sales, IT, finance. So everything that how Microsoft is investing and the benefits you can get through those investments. And with that, I'm going to go into more detail later on how I use it personally, on having more effective meetings and creating content and processing emails. And Jorge will be also going into data analysis. With that, I'm presenting now Jorge Castro. He is our Vice President for Artificial Intelligence. He has he's a data master from a U.S. university, and he has been a key point in working for Microsoft in the developing of artificial intelligence and also Power Apps as well as CRM. With that, I will stop sharing and have Jorge take over.
Thank you, Rodolfo, and good morning, everyone. As Rodolfo mentioned, today we are going to be doing a demonstration of some functionality regarding the Copilot integration with Outlook. Well, not with Outlook, just with Microsoft Office. So I'm going to start with Outlook, but the idea is that we are going to be working in Outlook, in Word, and in PowerPoint, and at the end we are going to be reviewing And the functionality on Teams that I consider that is one of the most um, useful in terms of the functionality that we have in Copilot. So um, the first one is going to be the Outlook functionality. Let me open an email now. Let's say that you want to generate an email. As soon as you need to have the license to have the functionality available. And something that I want to highlight is that probably you're going to have two icons. The first one is going to be Copilot for Sale, and the next one is going to be just Copilot. It depends of what license do you have assigned at the moment. At the moment, I have the whole functionality, so I'm going to be explaining you a little bit about both of them, but and a couple of differences that probably you will find on there. So the first one is going to be Copilot for Sales. This functionality is going to be available if you have dynamic CRM licensing, enterprise level. You are going to find the Copilot for Sales icon, and if you have just the regular Copilot one, you're going to have the other one. On this functionality, for example, let's say that I want to write an email informing something to a support team. You just need to write on a generate a draft email, and the Copilot functionality is going to generate the whole email. Okay, so the good thing here is that you actually, if you click in adjust draft, I think that this is totally awesome because you could define the length of the email. Actually, if you want to make it longer, or if you are okay with the length, you could define if you want to make it more formal, more professional, more friendly. And if you want to invite someone, or if you want to define a meeting with someone, you could suggest a couple of alternatives in terms of schedule. Of course, he's going to be reviewing your availability in your Outlook, and is going to generate a couple of suggestions. And additionally, it's going to allow you to define in what language do you want to generate an email. This list is increasing almost all the time. A couple of weeks ago, we just saw like 4 options or 5 options, and now I'm just reviewing that we have Danish and that we have Chinese. I mean, Microsoft is increasing the list constantly. Additionally, if you want to add some specific detail, like mentioning that you are going to provide a compensation or a discount or some other things, you could define that specific or additional details here, and the system is uh, 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 you will add 10% discount, something like that. So you could define here wherever you want it to be included in the email, and the Copilot functionality is going to be generating the draft, including the details that you just mentioned, of course. So this is a really good functionality. You could just click it here, and the email is going to be passed directly from here. That's the first way to do it. And that's the functionality that you are going to use using Copilot for sale. If you want to do it with the traditional Copilot one, it's going to be this one. And that one is going to generate 2 additional options. I mean, it's going to have 2 options. The first one is going to be the draft. That is quite similar to the one that I already explained you. And the other one is the coaching by Copilot. Let me show you a little bit what's the difference. For example, here, if you generate this with the draft, you could click here and you could just define what you wanted to include in the email, and you could click and adjust, and there are going to be some options, not all the options that you have in the Copilot for sale. You are going to have the tone, and you are going to have the length, and that's it. But you are not going to receive the language, and you are not going to receive the additional things that you want to include. It's kind of limited there, but in the Copilot for sale, it's going to be more extensive. So if you want to be more formal, or if you want to make it longer, you could just need to click on generate, and the Copilot functionality is going to be doing that. and it's going to generate a draft with the email. I don't know. I'm not exactly why, but for some reason, the functionality that you generate here is going to be shorter than the other one. This one is going to be more structured, and this one is going to be a little bit more concrete. And that's the first way. The first way is draft with Copilot, but the coaching by Copilot is the functionality that you write whatever you decide that you have to write. I mean, in your terms. But after your own writing, you could ask Copilot for suggestions. And the functionality is going to be doing coaching. It's going to be reviewing the test that you just included, and it's going to tell you how could you make it better. So this is a really good way to use the Copilot functionality in Outlook, just for generating emails, just for generating draft, or just for including functionalities or testing your email. So that's the first scenario, basically how to do it or how to include the functionality in Outlook. The things that you could change there is going to be the length, it's going to be the tone, and if you are using the Copilot for sales, you could just modify the language as well. The second one that I'm going to be showing you is the word functionality. The word functionality is going to be, it's easier as well. Basically, you have two ways to do it. The first one is going to be the Copilot prompts, and the other one is going to be the Copilot editor. And that's something because, I mean, on the two, you could do it differently. Okay, so just to start, I'm going to generate a draft. If you could, I mean, you could click here and ask Copilot whatever you want to generate, or you could click here and ask here Copilot whatever you want to generate. What's the difference? If you do it here, the document is going to be generated directly. And if you do it here, the document is going to be generated in this side, and after that, you need to copy and paste it. So my suggestion probably is going to be do it directly from here. Generate a draft about team building, at least 2 pages. You could define here whatever you consider that you require. Will be any topic, and the system is going to be doing the test for you. Of course, maybe the format is not to be quite nice, but it's going to be good enough to start with the document. So it's going to be generating some titles, probably a product, and after that, it's going to be just generating the document according to your requirement. So let's give it a second to finalize that. And after that, you could start interacting with Copilot to add paragraph, modify paragraphs, and make the redaction better. I mean, you could start interacting with Copilot for a couple of things. Let me just show you that. Okay, the document is ready. I'm gonna keep it. And after that, I'm going to start doing things with Copilot. So the first thing that I'm going to ask you, and I know that it's not going to allow you to do that. Let me try to change the color, the font color. Like, for example, change from color to blue. Copilot is not going to be able to do that. And actually, it's going to tell you that I cannot change that. Unfortunately, I can make these changes. But the good thing here is that you could ask Copilot, okay, you cannot do it. How can I do it? So you could ask Copilot how to change the font color in Word, and it's going to tell you, it's going to explain you how to do it. And actually, you could just click on Show Me, and it's going to show you the icon that you need to press to do it. Of course, this is a really simple functionality, but if you want to do it something a little bit more complex, like probably add a chart or something different, I don't know the complexity in terms of the functionality. You could receive the instructions, and of course, it's going to be easier for you. Actually, if you click on Show Me, as you can see, Copilot changed the menu that you were iterated, and now it's going to tell you, okay, if you want to insert chart, you need to go here and click this, and it's going to be guiding you about how to do it. Okay, So that's a really good way to use Copilot in terms of Word. Additionally, if let's say that I'm going to the end, and let's say that I want to add a paragraph, I want to add an additional paragraph to capture the summary of the document. So you could start asking Copilot that, or you could start asking, okay, add a paragraph that talk about something specific, or if you want to include a summary, or if you want to include, I mean, anything in terms of content, you could ask Copilot to do that. Sometimes it's going to take a moment, sometimes it's going to be faster, but at the end, it's going to generate the document. It's going to generate the content. Uh, it is, I mean, Copilot is going to be working not just for generating documents from scratch. If you already have a document, you could select the document. I'm going to show you that in a moment. Okay, this is the summary. As I tell you, it's not going to insert the content directly. It's going to show you the content here. You need to copy and paste it. I don't like that too much, but it's because I'm using that functionality. But you could just pass to the left side and do it. So here is going to be the summary. Of course, it's going to save you a lot of effort. And let's say that if you are not okay with a specific section, or if you want to modify a redaction, you could just select it and you could just click on rewrite with Copilot. And it's going to try to write it in a better way according to your needs. So in that way, you could write your own text, and after that, ask Copilot to write it in a different way or in a more professional way. And that's one way. Actually, I think that the way should be ask Copilot for the draft, ask Copilot for the base, and after that, start doing more human. I mean, I think that's a good way to do it. Not just generate the document directly with Copilot and that's it. So what I'm going to be doing now is that I'm going to save the document. Let's say that I don't know where I am here. More location. Let me see where I am. Let me save it in a folder. So what I'm basically, that's the functionality that you are going to have with Word. What I'm going to be doing now is going to be let me see, the document was team building. Team building. So what I'm doing now is that I'm just saving a document in a folder. The folder should be OneDrive. And I'm going to explain you what. The idea of what I'm going to be doing now is that I'm going to pass to a PowerPoint, and I want to generate a PowerPoint based on the Word file that I already or that I previously generated. To be able to do that, Copilot needs to find a document in a OneDrive folder. Again, you could just click on Copilot and ask Copilot generate a presentation for team building, and it's going to be almost the same because you could ask Copilot to generate the PowerPoint file according to the description that you provide. But let's say that you already have a document, you have a Word document with a bunch of content, and you want to generate a presentation based on that. The idea is that you need to enter to PowerPoint, click on Copilot, and you could just create a presentation for a file. The thing here is that sometimes it's going to be difficult to find a document. I don't know why, but basically it's going to show you some documents that supposedly you used it previously, but the documents that you just created is not going to appear here. So what I do in these cases is that I just go to the file, I just click in the document, click in the share, and I just copy the link. And that's why I require that in OneDrive or in a SharePoint option. So basically, I just paste the URL here. And in that way, PowerPoint is going to find the document. Of course, probably if you click on generate from a file and you start finding, probably you're going to find the document, but For me, this is the easiest way to do it. You just copy the link, and PowerPoint is going to be doing the document. So what PowerPoint is doing here is that it's going to identify the information that you already have in the document, and it's going to generate a slide. The good thing here is that it's going to include the summary, is going to include the base content that you have in your Word file. And additionally, it's going to modify the text, it's going to modify the titles, it's going to include the summaries, it's going to include images. So it's going to generate a really good presentation. Well, it's going to generate a presentation. It's going to be good as well, but it could be, I mean, you could make it better. But it's going to generate a really good base to start with your presentation. Actually, you could start asking Copilot for information that is not going to be related with your presentation. Like, for example, what is a readable font size for a PowerPoint presentation? That doesn't have any relationship with the presentation. But if you want to ask that to Copilot, Copilot is going to be reviewing the things, and it's going to say, okay, if you want to do it a better presentation, or if you want to do a good presentation, use the 24 points size, and it's going to provide it with just some suggestions. So it's a really good way to interact with Copilot, and could help you with additional things here. Of course, you could add additional slides if you want to request for some specific things, for simple things. Like, for example, as you can see, you don't have a slide for give the things. So you could ask that to Copilot, add a slide for things. And Copilot is going to include the slide, and it's going to include the image, and it's going to include that information to your presentation. It's taking a moment, but I'm going to do it at the end. This is still working, so I hope so that it's going to finish in a moment. Well,
yes, one thing, Jorge, you could mention that if they look at the notes, you could see that they have Copilot has created the script of what you have to say for each one of the slides based on the document that was created originally.
Yeah,
it's wonderful that that's not only tell you that show you the slide, but what to say on the slide.
Actually, it's going to generate a slide, it's going to generate a note, and it's going to generate, it's going to generate a note, and it's going to tell you where in the document, what elements from the original document Copilot is using for the note. So it's a really good thing, because you're going to have the reference of the original document, and it's going to be really simple for you to do the presentation, of course. Okay, I don't know why it didn't include the slide. Probably it's something in a specific moment. Yeah, now, okay, I think, okay, I don't know. But yeah, to generate the slide. Okay, so those are the functionalities that I want to show you in PowerPoint. Now I'm going to be passing to Excel. On an Excel file that again should be in a OneDrive path, or in a SharePoint path, should be somewhere online. You are going to have a file. Let's say that you have this file. Now on this scenario, I just have a couple of sales that we do of a product in a store or in a couple of stores, and what this sold unit and the revenue, and a couple of information here. So the first thing that I'm going to ask Copilot, you could start with some simple instructions like sort. Of course, you could go to the column. You could go to the column and click the icon and sort by yourself. Of course, I'm going to show you just that you could do it with a simple instruction. Okay, it's going to take a moment, but at the end, it's going to store the information in a specific order according to your instruction. Additionally, and I don't know why in Word doesn't work like this, but for example, here you could ask Copilot to bold the first column in Word, as I just showed you. The Word functionality is telling you that you cannot do that. You cannot modify formats, but in Excel, actually you could do it. So already modify the first column. Of course, you are going to have a Google Forms that you could use. But what happens if you want to visualize this information? You don't know exactly what is the specific chart that you want to generate, but you want to generate a chart. So you could ask Copilot just something like visualize this data, and it's going to generate the first chart. That is not too impressive, but the thing is that it's going to provide you this option, like add all insights. This is the good one, because it's going to generate a couple of charts based on the information that you have there. It's going to generate like 6 charts with some pivot table that is going to, I mean, for sure, some of these charts are going to be helpful, are going to be helpful for you. So this is a really good way to do it. You don't need to modify, you don't need to generate a pivot, you don't need to generate a specific charts. You just need to ask for some visualization. Additionally, some other functionalities that some functionality that I really like here is that you could ask for a suggestion. So you could ask Copilot suggest a column. You don't know what else probably is going to be required in your information, in your data, but you could ask Copilot suggest a column. And Copilot is going to review the information. It's going to tell you what could be a column that you could include. And it's going to explain you the formula that it's going to be using. And it's going to tell you, okay, do you want to include it? Okay, insert the column. You just need to click there and it's going to include the column immediately. So that's a really good way to use it. Of course, you could do or you could interact in a different way with Copilot in Excel, but this is the general thing that I really want to show you in Excel. Okay, now I'm going to be showing you how to use it on Teams. That I consider that is the one that probably is going to be more useful. Let me see my Teams here. So let's say that, well, you could do it in multiple ways. The first way is that you could go to any specific chat and you could start asking for things. Like, for example, okay, let's open the Copilot functionality here. And I could, for example, highlights from the past 10 days. If you want to review or if you want to ask Copilot for do like a summary or review what happened in the last 10 days, Copilot is going to do the summary for you. Well, it's going to highlight the things in the past 10 days or 30 days or past day, wherever. Additionally, you could ask Copilot for summarize what was discussed. And Copilot is going to review the test and it's going to tell you what is the summary of the conversation that you already have with the person. I'm just doing that based on the information that just interact with the person. But if you have a meeting and if you record the meeting and you want to do this validation after the meeting, you could do it as well. So this is a really good way to do it. Actually, maybe you can start the meeting punctually. You could ask Copilot, okay, what's the summary? Is there any action item for me? And Copilot is going to tell you that. This is in a regular session, in a regular conversation. This is one way to do it. The other way is when you have a meeting and you record the meeting and you want to start interacting with Copilot to generate a summary or something like that. But additionally, you could use Copilot per se. If you record a meeting, at the end of the meeting, you are going to have something like this, like a summary. And the good thing here is that I really consider that's really awesome is that Copilot is going to generate the summary of the meeting, okay? the transcript that is not too impressive, but it's going to generate this that it's impressive to me because it's telling you when the conversation was positive, when was negative, when was neutral. It's going to tell you, for example, what were the words that the people use the most, the specific words that I consider that is really important. Additionally, it's going to tell you who, I mean, what's the percentage of participation per person? That's really impressive as well. I mean, it's going to provide you additional insight about your conversation. And of course, you could just hear the recording and some other things. So that's another thing that is impressive. And just to finalize, I want to show you a functionality that we generate in Copilot Studio, like just to allow the people interact with the system and with the information. So we generate here a Copilot Studio that is regarding to Optimus. But I could start asking things like for example, okay, can you show me the days off that I have available? If I want to know how many days I have available for vacations or for holidays, I could start asking Copilot to do that. Or I could start Copilot, okay, I want to see what is the current status of a specific project. Or I want to know if that project is in budget or not. Or if I want to generate a task. If I want to generate a task, I could ask Copilot here, I want to generate a task for a specific person. And it's going to ask me, okay, what is the type of activity that you want to generate? All those information is going to be related to our dynamic CRM, because basically we connected to that. But what I want to show you here is that you could generate with Copilot Studio, you could generate your own Copilot that interact with your information, and you could after that enable that Copilot functionality in your teams to allow the people to use it directly. Okay, we create this Copilot Optimus to keep it inside our information. But additionally, for example, you could go here to Copilot and interact with your office environment. So if you want to review or you want to ask Copilot, what's the summary of the conversation that I had with a specific person in the past 8 days or something like that, you could ask Copilot that, and Copilot is going to review your emails and is going to give you a summary of the information. Okay, so basically those are the scenarios that I wanted to show you today. Now I'm going to be passing again to Rodolfo, that is going to be continue with the presentation. Thanks a lot for your time. Rodolfo? You are mute.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So thank you, Jorge. There was a chat in the chat, a question about Copilot for Power BI. You want to keep answering that one while I continue the presentation.
Okay.
Here it talks about a digital debt that's costing us an innovation. And this digital debt, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, we had typewriters, we had secretaries, and obviously the internet and office and all that made a significant change in the way we work. Everybody works. But at the same time, that brought us a lot more efficiency. We started getting bombarded with emails and documents and creating documents and having to read all this baggage of information and getting meetings and then getting the transcripts of those meetings. It's sometimes a little overwhelming. So you can see here how the employees are being impacted of this additional work, and sometimes I think I could do my job just answering emails And obviously that's not intent. My COO, when I want to work, is more on strategy, more than answering emails. And so this Copilot has done a lot for my personal efficiency, and I'll talk to you about later on that. But also creating documents. You saw just now, Jorge, how he could create a document out of basically just few words, and a document. Based on that document, you were able to go into PowerPoint, create a PowerPoint presentation. So that's amazing, everything that Copilot can do for us today. So there was a question in the chat about the pricing. We're going to have a specific session on June 7th about pricing, so I invite you all to attend, and so you can know more. But basically, it costs about $30. There's a free version and a $30 version that goes on top of what you're paying today for Microsoft 365, which is Copilot, costs about $30 per user. So the question, I remember talking with the general manager for the Caribbean and Central America, Louis, who I know a lot from my Microsoft years, when I was in Puerto Rico for an event. He told me that people asking, okay, what's the ROI, the return on investment for Copilot? And he said, okay, if you work a little on efficiency and it costs you $1 per day, so $30 divided by 30, wouldn't you find it kind of rather easy to find savings for $1 per day for that you have to spend? So here's a way to monetize it a little differently of an individual contributor. Obviously, this depends on maybe US salaries, but you can adapt it very easily to your own market. But let's take an individual contributor for that's making $60,000 a year. This also includes all the overhead that contributor has. And if he were able to save only 11 minutes per day, he would be breaking even. Okay, so imagine that if you were able to save those only 11 minutes, now it pays on itself. And this saves, at least personally, a lot more than 11 minutes per day in my case. And also my salary is a little higher than that. So it is amazing how today you can find efficiencies if you adopt it properly the use. And so here's how the workflows are being improved. and here's where I would like to give you some personal examples. Jorge showed you how to create, based on a few words, a whole document and then going to PowerPoint. There was one of our consultants put in an expense that was not appropriate, but because of not knowing how our policy was, because we had a very old policy, it was not very well spread out through the company. So what we did was put on Copilot, write me an expense policy where a corporation like this and that, the size, and we put some parameters. So it is critical when you do the instructions to Copilot, given what the objective is, what are the parameters, and the more context you give it, the better response you get. Because at the end of the day, you want to have your personal feeling, your personal touch. And it was amazing that it gave us 2 or 3 pages of the policy. We had to review it. Something that writing that document would, between discussions coming and going, would take us a couple of hours, 2 or 3 people, and then review it, and then write it properly. it took us about maybe 5-10 minutes, and then you have to review it. Obviously, that just to make some tweaks and here and there. But let's say instead of 2 hours, it could have taken us maybe 30 minutes or something like that. So it's amazing how that helped us a lot. Another aspect, our CEO, unfortunately, he was not able to attend today, so to the presentation. But our Hector Negron, our CEO, said, "Hey, this was Monday. On Friday, I would like to talk to the whole company about these topics." So he gave me all the parameters, what he wanted to talk about. Please create me a presentation. And I said, darn, I have to do this work. So I went to Copilot to prepare a presentation. Again, I gave all the parameters, something similar to what Jorge did. And it was amazing. So they tweak it. I did do, but he did me all the base many times for when we create a proper presentation. We spent a lot of time just thinking of how to start it, kind of getting the inertia. This gave me kind of about 70% of what I needed in just 5 minutes. And then I changed a few of the graphics that were proposed by the PowerPoint presentation, because it does offer you, as you saw, even pictures on how to embed it into the presentation. And eventually I sent it to him the day after, and he said, "Hey, did you use artificial intelligence for this?" And I said, "Obviously, definitely." And well, obviously he was proud that I was already implementing Copilot. But obviously you always want to give it a personal touch. You want to review it, make sure that all the data is proper. So not necessarily that 100% of the time it's 100% accurate, because it gives you that, you have to give it a very good concept. The more context you give it, the more precise it will be. And another example I would like to make is Hector was writing. He was next to me in Iceland a few weeks ago when we won that prize. And he was next to me. We were working, and he said, "Hey, Rodolfo, can you read this email I want to send to a customer? Do you agree with it?" And it was a little wordy. And fortunately, I have a lot of confidence with Hector. And I said, "I think it's a little too wordy." And he said, "Well, can you check it, rewrite it, and this and that?" And I said, "No, you do it. Do the Copilot." And so the only thing he had to say is, "Please make this document more concise." And it was beautiful. Actually, he didn't have to do anything about it, because obviously all the data was there. It just needed to be a little more concise, and it was perfect. And so he just sent it as it was. So those are very few examples of how I use it. And another example is on Teams. On Teams, I had our project managers, two of our project managers, talking with a customer. And I wanted to be in that call. I wasn't able to, but I did ask them to record it. And on Teams, you can record and make the transcript. And the transcript is that everybody that talks on the Teams, it tells you the name, who's talking, based on the team invites and the people that are connected, who's talking, and literally what they said. You can do it in English, you can do it in Spanish, and in your appropriate language, and tells you everything. But then it gives you a summary and the action items. So instead of me going through the whole video or reading the whole transcript, it was an hour meeting, give me one pager with a summary and the action items. I sent it to the two project managers and said, "Hey, did it catch properly? Is the summary correct? Is this what you talked about? Are the action items appropriate?" And the answer for both was wow, basically. And this is something that I have asked our consulting team, which, by the way, Jorge leads to, the consulting team, is that when you already have a call with a customer, and that sales team also, use it, record it, and get that summary, get the action items. Obviously, you have to review them and then send them. it not only looks more professional, but at the same time, you have a summary. It's very difficult to start going through many, many documents on recordings. But if you have a summary of each, then you have it in your email. And with Teams and Copilot, you can even check on Outlook. Give me all the information where we talk about that topic. It'll bring you a summary of going through now through your whole Outlook, all the times that was discussed in a summary, but also with the links to the actual emails where they took that information from. So again, these are very few examples of how I use it without much training on it. Okay, it is something that I keep discovering better ways and new ways of learning. And by the way, Microsoft also offers a lot of ideas. There's a whole forum on how you can find ideas on how to ask better. I think that's a key for Copilot for artificial intelligence, is learning how to ask, how to be, and how to create. And just one last one, which is a personal one. It was my wife's birthday. I've never done a poem in my life. I took several parameters of how I met her, how I love her, and how this and that. And I said, okay, create a poem. And the poem was awesome. Obviously, I had to confess that was also artificial intelligence, but she was all very pleased too. So even that type of creativity, which I have no poor artistic creativity in that aspect, Copilot was able to help me.